cannot take this anymore.
It's not that we're normal. I think it's we're kind of nerdy. And there's a lot of nerds out there that can relate to us.
Nominated for 3 Grammys, including Best New Artist and Best Rock Album, Linkin Park boasts the #1 selling album of 2001. Hybrid Theory has remained on the charts for well over a year after debuting at an impressive number 16.
I was shooting pretty high when I said, I wanted to sell 8,000 copies in a week. I thought that would be like something really extraordinary to do.
Everything you say to me, one step closer to the edge, and I'm about to break.
The Linkin Park story began the day singer Mike Shinoda and guitarist Brad Delson met as teenagers.
One of Brad's really good friends lived right next door to him, and I became friends with that guy. I'd go over to his house, Brad would inevitably show up.
Brad joined a band with future Linkin Park drummer Rob Borden. In college, the guys recruited bassist Phoenix and DJ Joseph Hahn, and in '95, the 5 got serious about writing and playing together.
When we started writing our music, it was really at a time when what we were doing was novel. There wasn't a lot of bands that were already mixing different styles of hip-hop or harder rock, alternative rock, electronic flavors in there as well.
The first songs we wrote were like, let's try to collide these different styles of music. And it really was somewhat crude at that point.
Crude or not, their music was fresh enough to draw attention at clubs and industry showcases.
The most common thing we heard was, it's great, like we love what you're doing, but we're gonna have to pass.
Everyone turned their backs and walked away, and we thought, we were told you got your one chance and it's over.
With graduation looming, the band's future was in doubt. The guys needed to revamp their sound and audition new singers to balance Mike's MC skills. One hopeful was Phoenix, Arizona resident Chester Bennington.
Chester basically relocated his whole life to move to LA from Phoenix to pursue his dream, which was always being in a successful band.
I had already been married for a couple of years before I joined the band. I had to say, honey, you stay here, pay all the bills with half the income that we had before, and wait for me to tell you when it's cool. It did get pretty sticky there for a while as far as the emotions go. You get depressed and you start going, is this really worth it?
Chester's risk-taking infused the band with new drive to bring their music to the masses.
It kick-started everybody else into going, all right, if he's going to make this big of a sacrifice, then each one of us has to step up to the plate.
I can't rely on myself.
Still without label interest, the band took a novel approach to marketing themselves and put their music on the internet.
We would basically go into other bands' chat rooms and say, hey, check out this song at this web address, and if you like it, email us back.
We knew, even though these people in the industry were saying, no, we don't really like it, there was a ton of kids, like every day, just tons of emails coming in. And so we knew that we weren't insane, that there was other people out there that enjoyed it.
Keeping the fire burning, the boys let fans dedicated to the band's cause help get the word out.
We also started really focusing on building a street team, which was surprisingly really easy.
We'd send them out stickers, a t-shirt, a letter, and really just try to tell them what we were doing so that when we would grow as a band, we really grew from the ground up organically, from word of mouth.
That was really what helped catapult us into the eyes of the industry. Here was this band that had been turned down, made a few changes, and the response from these people all over the world was just really evident.
After playing in at least 35 more showcases, the band's work paid off when they were signed by Warner Brothers, who in turn paid for the band's hands-on street team.
Those 850 people turned their passion for our music into, 50,000 people that came out and bought the album the first week.
Hybrid Theory's heartfelt lyrics struck a chord with fans who could relate to Chester's painful past.
Every time you look at somebody else when you're a kid and you go, man, I wish I had their parents, or I wish I had their life. You get to know them, you find out a lot of times, unfortunately, it's really similar. It's how I use my past and the good ways and the bad ways to write lyrics.
You love the way I look at you, while taking pleasure in the awful things you put me through.
Most of the lyrics, I think, really, it just touches you. I mean, they're just talking about real stuff instead of talking about bullshit.
After months of touring, including spots on big-time tours like Ozfest, you'd expect Linkin Park to be living the typical rock star lifestyle. But that's not so typical after all.
We usually keep it pretty low profile, keep it pretty mellow. Compared to other people who have sold a similar amount of albums, people who have the album might recognize them, they don't recognize us, and I like that.
Linkin Park closed out 2001 on top, with performances on the 2001 VMAs as well as the Family Values Tour, and the #1 selling album of the year. But this is a band that remembers who comes first.
What matters is those kids that come to see us play and hearing them sing along and just fully throwing themselves into our music.
Let's do it like this, y'all. Like this, y'all. Put 'em up like this, y'all.
That's where your #1 is every night on stage.
Kick 'em up, keep 'em up like this, y'all. Put 'em up now, put 'em up now. Put 'em up, put 'em up, put 'em up now. That's right, y'all. That's right, y'all. Kick 'em up.
With their current Project Revolution tour, an upcoming remix album, and 3 Grammy nominations going into 2002, Linkin Park still sees their time in the spotlight as a dream come true.
I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter.
And that was one of the things that we said a long time ago. We were throwing out things that as goals that we could achieve, and I was like, I think we should win a Grammy. It was kind of like tongue-in-cheek, but now it's kind of, we have a shot